guys, thanks for tuning in. So today we've got something cool. This is the GPTOYS F51 Aqua Drone, waterproof little mini or micro drone, whatever you want to call it. But we're going to be doing a full review on this today. Everything from unboxing, inspection, setting it up, to a little flight test in my backyard, and also a pool dunk test. So this one is touted to actually be able to record video while it's underwater, sitting on the water. So that'll be interesting to test and just see if it actually, in fact, does do all that stuff. So don't forget, I will have the links on this one down in the description, so you can check out the current pricing and all the specs on this one just to see what it's all about further. Anyway, let's go ahead and unbox this thing real quick. Just a couple of little sticky plastics tabs on the bottom, and the whole top just kind of slides off. And we're greeted first of all with this cool looking box that opens up. It's got all kinds of graphics on it. It's got this carrying case inside. It looks like a very high quality little bag with these little pull strings, so you can carry your whole quad in there or use it for something else if you want. And then you can see how we got these colorful pictures on the box, and it looks like it's got some details right here on the box as well. So let's just kind of really quickly read what this is saying. So it's a 3.7 volt 400 milliamp battery, flies around 8 minutes is what they're saying. It can fly about 50 to 80 meters, battery charge time 45 minutes, and that's really just about it. It's got 3 speeds of flight, and it does flips. Let's see what else. That's about it. Stabilization, fine tuning. Yeah, so it's just the standard quad. Not sure if it has headless or return to home, but we'll check that out. Anyway, there it is. So coming in the box, first off, we've got this black box here. It looks like a 2-tiered box, and instruction manual is here on the bottom. So let's get this thing out of the way real quick and get this stuff out of the box here. So here's the quad right on top. Just gonna pull this out of its plastic. It looks like it's in there really good, tucked away. And that's the quad there. Just a real cool looking, simple little orange micro or mini, depending on how you want to call it, quadcopter with a camera that's angled down. The only con right off the bat is that the camera is kind of angled down a bit far, so some people might not like that. But it does have its battery door right in the front here, and that looks like it just kind of hinges open and pops open, and these hinges are a little bit snapping off their hinge points, and it looks like the battery is tucked away in there. Anyway, mid-ax F51 on the top, and there's our SD card already installed on the bottom. Let's see what this SD card is. 4 GB. So they're giving us a 4 GB SD card that mounts with the writing on towards the bottom. And anyway, that's the quad. Propellers are already mounted up. Yeah, so let's go ahead and see what else is in the box and get back to the F51. So just pulling, actually let's flip this over. We got some stuff taped to the bottom here. And let's see what's in this bag. So it looks like they're just throwing pretty much everything in one bag, just kind of randomly packed in here. So we're getting a Phillips head screwdriver, a little propeller removal tool, and a little charger. So it looks like it's a dual battery charger. Wow, so they're giving us 2 batteries. So 2 little batteries. It's got that little micro Losi or Wakera plug on them. There is 1 battery already in the craft. We're getting 4 more propellers, so that's great, giving us an extra set of propellers. We've got propeller guards, landing gear, a little USB reader, so we can plug this into our computer and read the video that we took on the craft. Here are the landing gear here. Of course, you don't really necessarily have to put these on if you don't want to, but it would probably be advisable. And all you're doing with this on the landing gear is turning them so they're kind of tilting outwards. And it looks like it's just kind of a push lock mechanism. Just pushing in these little tabs, and it's just clicking right in. So no need to deal with screws or anything. So I like that. That's awesome. Just gotta make sure you push it in correctly the first time so you're not bending these little tabs. There we go. So landing gear is already installed, nice and easy. It does have an on-off switch, so that's a pro in my book, is anytime you have some kind of separate on-off switch, you don't have to start flying immediately after you plug the battery in. You can just switch this off and on. And the prop guards, basically, looks like they just snap right on. I'm not going to be using these because I'm not a beginner anymore, but you can if you want to. And it looks like they're just pushing on the top of the motors and snapping. I recommend to put these on if you're a beginner. No need if you're and more of an advanced or intermediate flyer. It'll give you some more flight time and less wind resistance. It looks like the propellers are just push on, so that tool will come in handy. So initially they really pack the battery in here, so you're gonna have to kind of dig this wire out, but that's it there. Don't think you're gonna be able to put in a larger battery. You're gonna have to stick with this one they give, which was a 400 milliamp 3.7 volt, which should be fine. Forgot the controller, so let's go ahead and get the controller out. But anyway, here's the power plug, and this is the charger. So you just want to plug this in to the charger, and then you can plug your batteries in along the side here. It looks like it will charge 2 batteries at the same time, which is convenient. Just plug both your batteries in just like that, one on that side, one on that side. You got 2 lights to show your charging process, and this will just plug into, you know, portable battery bank, computer, or like a cell phone plug. Anyways, almost forgot about the controller. Opening up the second tier here, and here is the controller. Interesting looking gaming pad controller that's tucked away in there nice and tight in the plastic. And here's what this one's all about. You got your throttle on the left, your yaw of course, and your pitch and roll. Nicely labeled here. We got speed setting, so rates of flight. You're gonna go faster or slower by clicking that. Flip on the left. You can do flips with the right stick when you press that in. Just got a little light on the top. And it looks like you will need that screwdriver to take off this little screw here, and probably will never need to put that back in as long as this clips on nice and tight. 4 AAA batteries, and this does in fact clip on. I'm going to bend this out just a little bit so it clips a little better. So game stick style controller, and we've got a bunch of buttons here, so let's see what these do. Nice, easy to understand manual. It's got some color arrows and stuff. So as far as these guys down here, we got headless up top, photo on the left, video on the right, 1 key return on the bottom. That middle OK button clicks in, but it doesn't say it's doing anything. That's kind of strange. Anyway, on the right, we've got forward trimming, so you know, pitch and roll trimming. Okay, so the middle of this one actually is light control, so it is labeled that the middle turns off and on the lights on here, but not sure if this one does anything in the middle of this one. And then we have our light indicators. So the bottom light's going to indicate 1 key return is on, the middle light's going to determine that headless mode is on, and the top is just your photo and video indicator is what it's saying. So maybe when the video's on, this should click or blink or something. And that's basically it. The thumbsticks don't click in, so there's no functions there. Anyway, let's go ahead and do a quick little initial boot up on the bench here, but it's pretty tight in here. So tucking that in and then just pushing the door closed is really pretty tight. So a little bit of a con on this one is not really much room at all for closing the door for this battery. Looks like we really got to work this thing in here and then push that lever, so just be careful you don't break that lever, but it did snap in nice and tight and it looks fine. Okay, so got the batteries in. Let's see how this thing looks when we power it on. So powering on the craft first. These toys always like to just power on the craft with this little switch on the bottom on this one. You can see the lights light up. There's our lights, so red in the front, green in the back for this. Set it down, turn on the controller. We got 3 beeps and everything's on solid. Automatically have binding, and the motors are armed and ready to go. Alright, looks good. There's our lights, and we do have a little indicator on the bottom. You can see the blue light there on the very bottom. And so looks good. So everything is ready to go. Let's see if this one has any kind of leveling. If we pull the sticks, okay, we pull the sticks to the bottom down left and right, and we heard those beeps. That looks like it's going to be your re-level calibration for calibrating your accelerometer. If it is flying kind of wacky, put it on a perfectly level surface and go ahead and do that, and you can recalibrate to level. Alright, cool. So let's get the batteries all charged up. Make sure this is full battery power. Get it out in the yard, do some crazy flying with our hat cam, some commentary, and put it through all of its paces and do our water dunk test. See if we can take video underwater. Let's go fly. Okay, so we're at the park with the GPTOYS F51, supposedly a waterproof little micro mini drone, and I thought I'm trying to test a few other reviews here today and do some reviews, a few other quads and stuff, and it started raining on me, so I thought what a great time to just go ahead and test the waterproof capabilities of the F51. So after we do this park test here and after we do the review in the rain here, it's actually a pretty good rain. You can kind of see the controller, how wet it is here, and this is the box I'm going to launch off of. But you can see that it's coming down. I mean, it's a steady, not hard rain, but it's a kind of a medium rain. And let's just try to go ahead and fly this thing around in it and see what happens. After this, I'm going to go ahead and actually get back to the house and do my pool test. So initially, this is just going to be kind of the initial review and rain test, I guess you could call it. So let's go ahead and start this thing up and see how it does. I went ahead and leveled the surface of this just with my cell phone. This is just a case from a different quad. And I have this leveled pretty good, so it's a good idea, you know, if you're kind of in a slopey area like this. The guys are actually painting the regular park I do reviews in for the soccer season, so I can't do the review on the main field, so I'm just over here on the side in the trees, and let's see how this goes. Cool thing about this controller is we have all of these labels on here, so that'll at least help us out. So let's go ahead and launch and see how this thing does. Okay, so this is rate 1, and so far so good. It's a good thing my camera is kind of slightly weatherproof, so hopefully the camera doesn't crap out on me, but there's no wind, just a little bit of rain, so here we go. So this is it. That's what you can kind of expect for a hover. It's kind of drifting to the back, so I'm going to trim it to the front a little bit. There's really no wind right now, so this is perfect conditions. Let's see if we can get this trimmed out a little bit better. There we go. So that one trim to the front might be a little much for it, or you know, the rain might be throwing it off. But anyway, can't expect it to be too stable in this rain. It's good enough for me. So here's rate 1. Full pitch forward, full pitch back. There's a roll, kind of the same angle for the roll. And let's go into the yaw real quick. So far so good in the rain. No dropping or anything. Can't say the same for the controller. I mean, it is raining on the controller too. So anyway, there's our yaw. So that's what we can expect for rate 1 yaw. Let's kind of do that while we're going into the different rates. So I'm going to do the yaw while I do... Oh, let's get back over here. It's kind of wandering. There we go. So let's do the yaw and then hit our rates. So while it's yawing like this, I'm going to go ahead and hit... That's rate 2 and rate 3. So it actually is going faster in each rate. So that's excellent. And let's see what rate 2 is. So we can see rate 2 on our pitch and roll. A little bit better angle, so that's great. Awesome. And let's go ahead and go into rate 3 and see how fast this thing can go. So a really good pitch and roll rate as well as yaw rate all the way around for all 3. Very satisfied with that. Let's go ahead and do a punch test. So from a full hover or a regular hover to, whoops, okay, we don't want to go under the tree here. Let's get out away from the tree and punch it. Keep in mind this is in the rain. It's actually coming down pretty good now, so let's go ahead and punch it. Okay, so whoa. So a pretty slow altitude acceleration. So can't expect too much there, but you know, it's fine. Let's go ahead and turn it around. You know what I forgot to do is start the recording. Shoot. So let me go ahead and start the video recording. So I pressed that right on the left hand side, that little right button here, and I'm seeing the video light is blinking on the controller, if you can see that there. So it's still good. We're taking video. Let's see what happens if we take a picture. The photo is actually on the other side. Let's see if it turns off the video. Oh, I still see the video blinking, so hopefully that took some pictures. Let's try to get up here a ways. We do have a couple batteries, so if this one runs out, it should be okay. There are some power lines up there, but let me just go ahead and get a picture up here. Not hearing that beep anymore. Let me stop the video and then try another picture. There we go. I'm way up here now. I'm going to turn off the lights, save some power, and the lights was that middle button on the right little thumb pad here. So, okay, there's the photos, just taking a few photos. You know, you can kind of see where I'm at in the trees here. I'll have those photos up on the screen as well as the video. Let me just go ahead and start the video again. I was pressing that for the video again. So far doing great in this rain. I mean, I'm under the tree and I'm kind of sheltered, but this thing's out there in the rain and it's doing great. Let's go ahead and do a range test real quick. So I got to watch out for these power lines. So I'm about 100 feet now. Oops. Okay. So range on this one ain't going to be too great. So I felt dropouts at about 100 feet. I mean, I was right underneath those power lines, so that might be influencing it a little bit. But don't expect a huge amount of range for this little micro. Okay, anyway, this should have a couple of other functions. I launched from this direction. So let's go ahead and try some of these advanced modes. So headless mode is top button here. I'm seeing the lights flashing. And it looks like the headless mode is going to get skewed. It should be going that way when I push forward, but it is going to the back right. So it got skewed a little bit from spinning and stuff, so I'm not even going to attempt that. I'm turning headless mode off. And it looks like we're getting some flashing on the lights. That should mean our low level battery warning. And let's just see, you know, how long it lands. And as far as the auto return, real quick, pressing the auto return, you can see how it's going to the back right. So it is going to get skewed on this one, just like all these toy quads. You know, unless you're really close to yourself and just a really beginner, don't even attempt to use those headless and return to home. They won't really work. Oh, flip. See if we can do one on low battery. Nope, it's not even letting us do one. I did them in the house though, and it was actually very good. I'm going to stop the video before it cuts out on us. It's actually giving me plenty of time when the lights blink. There it goes. So landing. And let's just see if we're in the grass, but let's just see if it cuts off for the low voltage. I have it full throttle, and yeah, so it cut off, so it won't really damage your battery. It won't drain too low. If that does happen, you want to definitely turn it off ASAP. Okay, well that was awesome. We kind of did everything, that whole review in the rain, and it worked very well. So if the video and the pictures worked, I'll have those up on the screen. It's a little bit wet now, but it seemed to fly perfect in the rain. I mean, this is a good amount of rain. Look at the box here. Anyway, quick little pros and cons here. So great 3 rates of flight. Pitch, roll rate, yaw rate, excellent. Decent lift, not too good on the lift because, you know, it's got the whole camera and stuff, and it's just a really small micro. But the speed, the range, not so great. It's kind of what you can expect for something this small, about 100 feet with this small kind of game stick controller with no real outside antenna. The headless mode and the return to home are going to get skewed, so don't expect those to work. Great that it had that low voltage blinking lights. It gave us about, seemed like 30 seconds or more to land once the battery starts going low. And I did do the flips in the house, and this thing does flip very well. Keeps its altitude when you flip, does quite quick little nice flips in all directions. I forgot to do that in this little review here, but it does flip well. Maybe I'll do that. Actually, I have another battery, and I'll go ahead and recharge this one too, and let's get back to our house and just a quick little water test. I'll just be at the kids pool, fly into it, try to sink it maybe a little bit, and just see how this thing holds up. try to get some video underwater, see how this thing does. So let's get back to the house and do a little pool dunk test. All right, cool. So here we are at the house in the backyard at the pool, the little kids pool, and let's go ahead and put this thing through a pool test and just see how waterproof this is. GPTOYS claims this to be a waterproof drone, so let's really put it through the test. We did the rain test and I wanted to do a pool dunk, so I'm gonna kind of go all out and just see what happens, see if it actually does record underwater and stuff like they claimed. Okay, so just gonna launch from my hand here and let's see how this thing does. Probably going to go into maybe a higher rate. It's a little bit windy now, so let's go into a little bit higher rate. See how it does. Okay. I'm actually going to go into rate 3 because the wind's coming around that corner. So I didn't get to show the flips in that little park test I did, so let's go ahead and show those flips right now, right over this pool. So clicking in the left stick, and then just in any direction after you hear the beeping. So that's what we can have for flips there, expect for flips. And here we go. So let's just do this water test now and see how it does. Getting a little bit of wind gusting, you can see the trees there. So let's go ahead and dip it in the water and really see what this thing can do. So first I'm going to leave the propellers just kind of going. And now I'm going to kind of shut off the propellers. Oh, I didn't start the filming. Well, apparently it can go halfway in the water. Let's make sure we start this video. So I'm going to start the video now. And we can see that on the controller. I do see that video light blinking. Whoa, there was a good water test. Let me go to rate 2. Rate 3 is a little bit radical. So I'm just kind of dunking it and driving it through the water here. You can see that. Look at that. So I'm getting water all in the vents. Just really driving it in. Look at this. Left, right, forward. Really dunking it in there to get a really good water test, and still launching out of the water and doing fine. It should be recording under the water. So let's see. I'll have the video up on the screen of how this thing's recording. I'm going to shut off the propellers all the way now. And it's sinking. And it actually came up. And it's lifting up out of the water. So that's amazing. It'll actually go completely underwater. And it still has reception to come out. Let's do that again. Just very lightly on the propellers. We'll be seeing some footage underwater now, hopefully. I'm still seeing the flashing recording on the controller. So I'm just kind of spinning it, doing a little yaw while the propellers are slightly spinning, just so it's not going to sink. I'm almost all the way underwater. I'm just have the propellers just a little bit. And so let's turn them all the way off and let it sink a bit. Yeah, so there we go. So that's a little bit of a con there. It's not going to really, get connection underwater. So that's kind of what we can expect. Let me fish this thing out, and then we'll try to use up the remainder of the battery. So let's get this thing out of the water here. So it seemed like if it's a little under the surface, it can reach. We can see that I just pulled it up, and it's working again. So it seems like you can only be under the surface maybe a couple inches. Let's try that again. So shutting the propellers off. You can see it going all the way under. Oh! So when you're about maybe an inch or more under the water, that's where the signal is going to get lost. So let's fish this thing out again. I'll let it sit under there for a little bit. It is flipped over now. We can see the lights blinking. I'm not sure if that's because it knows it lost connection. Yeah, so the lights stopped blinking, and that means it regained automatically connection on the drone. So that's pretty cool. And I'm seeing that the video is not recording anymore. It's blue, but apparently the controller doesn't know that. So let's try again. So let's just keep kind of trying to get some video. Apparently you don't want to let it go underwater too much, or else it'll lose connection and the video will stop. So if you are going to be flying this around water, oops, there it goes again. Just make sure that you know, you don't go underneath the water. Okay, so let's get this out of the water again. Lights are blinking underwater. I bring it up out of the water, and that's when it regains connection to the controller. Let's make sure it can still fly after that dunk. Yep, still flying. Now the lights are blinking, so I guess the battery's getting low. Still flying fine. Cool, so you know what? This is definitely a go in the waterproof realm. Let me go ahead and shut off that video. So not sure what's happening with the video right now. I'm seeing blue blink, but the video is not turning off when I press the button. So hopefully there was some video recorded. You know, I'm not too sure. But we'll have to see that in the video. I'll have it up on the screen and see how it did. Anyways, I kind of went through the pros and cons at the park on this guy. But you know what? It is basically waterproof as far as flying around. I'm not sure, again, what the longevity of flying in water is going to be. It still works fine out of the water. And we did let it kind of sit there in the water for a while. And look at that. So it's still, everything's fine. Still have power to all the motors. The only thing is possibly the video might be getting messed up, but I really have no idea at this point. I'll have to check the video. Anyways, guys, I hope you liked that review, and I do a lot of reviews like this, and there's going to be more, I guess, waterproof test reviews, so stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.